In the United States Army, for individuals living in the barracks, there are some restrictions as to what you can and cannot have inside the barracks. I've talked about some of these, but let's ball it all up into one video. So for one of those is going to be when you have visitors. They have to be usually over the age of 18. Some units will make exceptions for maybe direct family members, brother, sister, or something like that. If they are under the age of 18, they might let it slide. But for the most part, a lot of units will require that individual to be over 18. If they are, not in the military, they'll probably have to give up some kind of ID at that front desk to be able to kind of, keep track of who's in the barracks. And there usually be like a curfew as far as what time they have to be out, because they're not gonna be allowed to like spend the night, spend the weekend with you inside the barracks. There is gonna be a curfew as to when that visitor has to be out of those barracks. Another thing I've talked about before is firearms. You can't have your pistol, you can't have your hunting rifle, probably not even gonna be able to get away with like a crossbow or bow and arrow or anything crazy like that. Firearms are not allowed in the barracks. You're gonna have to make other arrangements to store that firearm somewhere else other than inside the barracks. Some units will also have restrictions on like knives, so you'll probably be able to get away with like a pocket knife or like a kitchen knife or something like that. But some units may restrict maybe something larger than 6 inches on the blade, so no swords or machetes may be not allowed in the barracks, and that may vary from unit to unit. Another one is going to be pets. No dogs, no cats. You're gonna go to the field for like a week, 2 weeks, a month, and who's gonna take care of your animals, if you have living in the barracks. So they're not allowed to have pets. They also don't want them, smelling up the barracks or barking in the middle of the night or whatever, so no pets are allowed in the barracks. Some units will also restrict the amount of alcohol that are in the barracks. I was in one particular unit where we weren't allowed to have more than a 12-pack of beer and one bottle of liquor. So you could have a 12-pack of beer and maybe one bottle of Jack Daniels, but that was it. When they came through to inspect the barracks, if you had more than those, they would confiscate that. Now, some of these things will vary from unit to unit, so just be aware there are gonna be some, restricted items in those barracks.